Good morning. This is Dylan Jovine from Behind the Markets. Happy Tuesday. Today is September 10th. Trump this weekend was talking about the dollar. He actually threatened to impose tariffs, 100% tariffs on any country that ditches the dollar when it comes to trade. And again, we don't talk politics behind the markets, but we do talk about policy. And while I'm not a fan of his solution to the problem of the dollar losing its role as the reserve currency of the world, I am grateful and happy that he's been talking about it. You see, we've been talking about this also for over a year now. It's been a serious thing. And it's one of the reasons we got bullish on gold last year before it started this crazy historic run. But if you look at it, the dollar is losing its status as the world's reserve currency. And China has been chipping away at it. It's gone to Brazil, Argentina, Iraq, and other countries, and Russia, of course, and it has gotten them to actually start to ditch the dollar for trade and trade in the Chinese Yuan. And word leaked a few months ago that Saudi Arabia was going to ditch its 50-plus year petrodollar agreement to price oil in US dollars and also do the same thing. Now, why is all this happening? Basically, China's been trying to get everybody to trade in yuan for years. I mean, they've been going around trying to get everybody to ditch the dollar in trade. Everybody kind of laughed at them because nobody took their internal capital market seriously and a bunch of other, it's not convertible. There's a bunch of reasons why China wasn't ready for prime time. But they saw when the Biden administration locked Russia's central bank reserves right after they invaded Ukraine, that was a line that had never been crossed before with a big country. I mean, that was a big line. And China actually started going around to all these countries and saying, look, the US could just take your money that you have as central bank reserves. Just take it at any time. This has never really happened before. So China, we will never do that to you. So China's been able to use what I think will go down as a historic mistake by the Biden administration to do that. China's been able to use that issue to actually sit down with these countries and start peeling off more countries. And what you can do is you can start to see the outline of the game, this great power competition happening between the US and China. You know, China's on the attack. The US makes what it perceives to be a mistake, and China moves. It's like a chess match. The US freezes these reserves, crosses that line. China just goes to every country and says, look what they're doing. You can't trust these guys with your money. They will just snatch it if you don't do what the US says. Now, the defense of the Biden administration, because again, we can't be partisans. We have to be ruthlessly objective to be competent investors. I don't have an opinion on the bull side. I don't care about the bear side. I only care about the right side. The same is true with politics. Democrat, Republican, I'm looking at policies that help the U.S. keep being this incredible engine of innovation that are most likely to help the U.S. economy, creating new companies and new jobs. Those are policies that I am most focused on. But if the U.S. loses its role as the world's reserve currency, that will cut our net worth down by 25% top to bottom. And as Trump rightly said, that would be worse than losing any war. Make no mistake about it. If you look at the history of countries like England going against France, and one of the big reasons England was able to stay a hegemon in power for so many years is that it's developed capital markets and currency. Having a world's reserve currency is an exorbitant privilege. We are also blowing this exorbitant privilege by taking on so much debt. So China also goes to these countries and says, look, if you hold anything in dollars, the value of your dollars are going to go down by 5-10% a year if these guys keep printing money and running inflation. So anyway, we are giving China a lot of openings to actually go to other countries and say, ditch these guys. These guys stink. Now, for the sake of objectivity, I do have to defend the Biden administration on one thing. They were thinking, which I disagree with, but they were thinking that, look, Russia invaded Ukraine. We have to limit their capacity to wage war. That's why they will tell you they froze these reserves. Now, I think they could have accomplished this going short of the nuclear option, because when it comes to world's reserve currency, really, this was the nuclear option. The Biden administration chose the nuclear option, and the dominoes have fallen as a result. Ladies and gentlemen, I am not exaggerating. This is not hyperbole when I tell you having the world's reserve currency is such a privilege. Interest rates would be 5 percentage points higher. Unemployment would be 5 percentage points higher, would double. Everything for this country would be worse off. Your IRA, your retirement accounts, your pension, everything would be 25% less or more if the United States did not have the world's reserve currency. This is serious business, very serious business. And I am happy that one of our two major party candidates is actually talking about this. This is the first time I've heard somebody talk about this in a presidential election, and gosh, I don't remember when. Have a great Tuesday.